episode of Website Success. I'm your host, Chrissy Ray, and today we are diving into one of my personal favorite subjects, WordPress. Since I spend a great chunk of my time working in WordPress, and I talk about it often on my YouTube channel, and I write courses about it, and I use it on a pretty much daily basis, I thought it might be helpful to cover it a little bit more in the podcast. So here we are. Now let's start with the basics. WordPress is a content management system, or a CMS, and that means that it's a platform or software that allows you to build and manage your website without needing to know how to write any code. Now, if you do know how to write the code, even better, but you don't need to know any code at all to use WordPress. And WordPress is the most widely used CMS on the internet. It currently powers more than 40% of all websites on the internet. And I think it's something like more than 60% of websites that use a CMS. And that's leaps and bounds ahead of all of the other CMSs out there. So the next most popular CMS is Shopify, which is an e-commerce system, and that is at 4%. And then after that, you've got Wix, which is at about 2.5%. And then coming up fourth is Squarespace, which has a market share of about 2.1%. So as you can see, it's more popular and more widely used than all three of those put together, much more widely used than all three of those put together. Now, if you're wondering why WordPress is so popular, so much more popular than any other content management system, there are quite a few reasons, and I think the first one is because it is relatively easy to use, and it was the first of the content management systems to really sort of focus on usability and the user interface and to try to make it easier for non-programmers to use it. There are some other content management systems out there that were out before and around the time of WordPress, but they were very difficult to use. And I'm a programmer, and I thought that they were very difficult to use, but WordPress was probably the easiest. And that's part of why I picked it for my tool of choice, because it was easier for my clients to use it. They're non-technical, so it just made it a really good choice for us. You don't need to be a tech guru to use WordPress. The dashboard is pretty intuitive once you get to know the basics. I know some folks think that there's a really big learning curve on WordPress, and depending on how it's set up, there can be, but overall, I do think that it's relatively easy to use. So you want to add a new page, it's just a couple of clicks. You want to update your menu, it's all drag and drop, and it's pretty easy to use. Another really good thing about WordPress is that it is what's called open source, which has a very technical explanation, but we'll just say that basically it means that anybody can change it and anybody can make extensions to it. Now, that assumes that you know how to do the programming for that. You do need to know PHP, CSS, JavaScript, and a bunch of other languages to do that. But if you do know those different languages, you can create your own extensions to WordPress. And that flexibility, that extendability, it has led to a massive number of extensions for WordPress called themes and plugins. Themes dictate how the WordPress website looks, and then plugins can extend the functionality of WordPress. So if you imagine you're building a car, WordPress is the car. The theme is the body, the paint job, the interior, what you're using for those. And then the plugins are going to be things like the air conditioner, the GPS, whether or not you have automatic windows, and all of the other gadgets that make your car functional and comfortable. WordPress has it's just under 60,000 free plugins in the free WordPress plugin repository. And those plugins can manage everything from search engine optimization and page layout to your social media integration, e-commerce capabilities, adding contact forms, and much, much more. We actually, at my day job, my business, we have created plugins that allow you to do things like hook the website up to association management systems and CRM. So you can do a lot with it. And so what that means is that you can start with a really basic website, just a plain, what they call vanilla installation of WordPress, and you can add features as you go along and as you need them without having to rebuild the entire site. Now, in addition to those free plugins, there are thousands of premium plugins some of which are upgrades to the free ones. And premium means that you have to pay for them. And in a lot of cases, those premium plugins or the upgrades to the free ones, they have more features and better support than the free ones, because you're probably going to be more likely to get support if you're paying somebody than if you're doing it for free. So something to keep in mind there. Now, as for the themes, you can find more than 11,000 free themes. There's a free theme repo on WordPress.org. And like the plugins, there are also thousands of premium themes available. And just to make it a little tiny bit more complicated, there are also several page builders, and those can be themes, but they're usually going to be plugins. And those can also give some sort of like a drag and drop functionality so that you can create any layout that you want. And that's going to make WordPress similar to some other website builders, other CMSs out there like Squarespace and Wix. So if that's what you're looking for, you can do that with WordPress. Now, all of that extendability can lead to WordPress being a little overwhelming for some folks. There are just so many choices that you can run into what they call paralysis by analysis. But don't worry too much about that, because I'm here to help you. I'm going to help you sort through all of the confusion. I've been using WordPress for a very, 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 very long time now. I want to say 15 years, give or take. I think I started using it in 2008-ish. It's been a little while, so I can't remember. 2008, 2010, I can't remember. But if you need to do something in particular, I probably know how to help you and find the plugin or theme or whatever it is that you need to use for that. It can do quite a bit. Now, another huge advantage of WordPress is its community. It's been around since 2003. So at this point, as of the time of this recording, it's been around for 20 years. Older than my son. And over the years, it has built up a massive global community of users and developers, which is how you ended up with over 50, almost 60,000 plugins and 11,000 free themes. And you got a lot going on there. So what this means is that you're going to find a lot of resources, tutorials, videos, all kinds of help on pretty much everything you can think of for WordPress. So if you do run into a problem, chances are someone else has run into that problem, and there's probably already a solution out there. And if there's not, plugin developers, theme developers are very good at jumping on the issues and making solutions for any problems that come up. So you're very likely to find a solution to whatever problem you've got. Now let's talk a little bit about scalability. As I already mentioned, you can grow your WordPress site. So one of the really nice things about WordPress is that it can grow with you. So whether you're running a small personal blog or a large e-commerce website, WordPress does have the capacity to handle it. So as long as you've got adequate hosting for your WordPress site, it can do pretty much everything. So, and also as your website gains more traffic or you need to add more features, then you can stick with the same platform. You don't have to switch to another platform just because you're getting more traffic or you need to add additional features. And I've personally built everything from one-page websites that might get a few hundred hits per month for folks who just needed a placeholder on the web, all the way up to multi-million-dollar enterprise websites that may get tens of thousands of hits at one time. Not in a month, not in a week, but at one time. And as I mentioned before, we do plugins that integrate with other systems. And so these larger, more enterprise sites, they need that sort of integration with it. And WordPress really can handle all of those situations and really everything in between. Now let's address the elephant in the room, which is cost. WordPress is free. The software itself is free, but you do need to pay for your web hosting, and you also need to pay for a domain name. And the good news is that there are hosting plans available for pretty much every budget, from as low as a few dollars a month all the way up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars a month if you need it. So I have done a couple of episodes on all about web hosting, so make sure you go back and listen to those. And I've got some recommendations on my YouTube channel about picking a hosting provider, so make sure you check those out. And now, the other thing that I mentioned earlier is that some of the plugins and themes are premium, so you might have to pay for those, but you can usually find free versions of a lot of the plugins and themes. So you might have to pay for it, you might not have to pay for it. It really just depends on what sort of functionality you want. Now, I do also want to mention that there is a really big difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. It can be a little confusing, so I do think it's important to know the distinction. WordPress.com is a business that offers WordPress hosting, so they're not the same thing. WordPress.org is a nonprofit foundation. WordPress.com is a business. And WordPress.com does have a free plan, but it's very limited and it doesn't really hit all of the points that I've already mentioned. So you might want to look at other hosting for your WordPress website. WordPress.org, on the other hand, is totally free. And it can be hosted at other hosting. So it can be hosted just about anywhere that has the minimum requirements for the language that it runs on and the database software and all that. So as long as you've got those requirements, you can run WordPress on it. In fact, you can even install WordPress on your own computer. The WordPress.org version. I wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend hosting your WordPress site from there, but you really could if you needed to and wanted to. So in summary, WordPress is robust, it's flexible, it's user-friendly, and it's really ideal for just about anybody looking to build a website. It's got a wide range of themes and plugins, so you can create a site that's got all of the looks and functionality that you need. And with a strong community, you're going to get invaluable support, and you also have the scalability that's going to ensure that WordPress is going to be a long-term solution for your online needs. That wraps up today's deep dive into WordPress. I hope this episode has given you a comprehensive understanding of what WordPress is and why it's the go-to platform for creating a successful website. In our next episode, we'll take a look at how to choose the perfect WordPress theme for your site. Until then, this is Chrissy Ray signing off. Thanks for listening.